Hello, this is the Japanese Economic Review channel. Today, we are diving into one of the most important signals for the Japanese economy, the brand new Consumer Confidence Survey for February 2026.
We're always trying to answer that big question. How are people in Japan really feeling about their finances, their jobs, and the economy in general? Well, this survey gives us a direct window into exactly that.
And just so you know, we're not dealing with guesswork here. We are looking at the official government statistics published directly by the Cabinet Office. This is the real deal, a reliable snapshot of the national economic mood. So, here's what we've got on tap. We'll start by taking the temperature of the overall mood. Then we'll look at that big headline number on confidence. After that, we're going to break down what's driving it, check out how people are feeling about prices, and then, wrap it all up with what it all means. All right, let's get right to the main event from this latest survey, because there has been a major and honestly a pretty surprising surge in confidence that we absolutely need to talk about. But hey, before we flash the big number, it's super important to know what we're looking at. The main thing is this, the Consumer Attitude Index. Think of it as an average of how households feel about four key things: their day-to-day livelihood, their income prospects, the job market, and crucially, whether they feel it's a good time to buy big-ticket items. So after months of some pretty slow, steady movement, the data for February 2026 shows a really significant jump. And there it is. The headline Consumer Attitude Index has hit 40.0. Now, for anyone who follows this stuff, you know that crossing that 40-point threshold is a pretty big deal, psychologically.
Now, to really get a sense of how important that 40.0 is, just look at the size of the change. The index leaped 2.1 points all the way from 37.9 in January. In the world of economic data, a month-over-month increase like that is massive. It really signals a shift in how people are feeling.
Okay, so where is all this good feeling coming from? To figure that out, we need to pop the hood and look inside the index to see what's really pushing this trend upwards. And what we're seeing here is that this isn't just one thing. The optimism is pretty broad-based. All four parts of the index went up. But check out the two standouts. Willingness to buy durable goods shot up by 3.5 points, and feelings about overall livelihood jumped 2.9 points. That tells us people aren't just feeling vaguely better, they're actually feeling confident enough to think about making major purchases. And just to put that 40.00 score into some historical context, take a look at this trend line. This isn't just a one-month blip. The score we see for February is the highest peak in consumer confidence we've seen in years. It's a clear break from the much more cautious mood we've seen in the past. Okay, so confidence is up. That's great. But there's another really critical piece to this whole puzzle: inflation. What's the feeling on future prices? Now, at first glance, this might look a little concerning. An overwhelming 85.6% of households still expect prices to go up over the next year. So let's be clear about that. Worries about inflation have not just vanished into thin air. But, and this is the really critical detail, while the number of people expecting prices to rise is still high, the direction of the trend has shifted dramatically. Compared to just last month, the share of people expecting prices to rise fell by a huge 5.7 points. And at the same time, more people are now expecting prices to fall or just stay the same. This really suggests that fears about inflation might have finally peaked. All right, let's pull all these threads together. What are the big takeaways from this really interesting February survey? So here's the bottom line. First, consumer confidence isn't just up a little, it's up sharply, hitting a multi-year high. Second, this optimism is widespread. It's not just about one thing. We're seeing improvements across livelihood, income, jobs, and spending plans. Third, that big jump in willingness to buy durable goods is a really strong signal for future spending. And finally, even though inflation worries are still there, they have started to ease off in a big way. And that leaves us with the big question for the months ahead. We've got this powerful combination of improving sentiment and softening inflation fears. But the real test, of course, is going to be whether this newfound optimism can stick around and actually translate into real, sustained economic growth. Thank you for watching the Japanese Economic Review. We look forward to having you with us again.